Ladies and gentlemen, I am your GSW champion, and I'm here with my new segment, Hittin' Hard with Healy. I know it's a few weeks behind. Like I have to say over and over again, because all you crybabies, I'm a busy man. But I'm here with what should be a pretty decent episode. It's really just going to be shoot style. It's going to be me straight up, no edits, nothing, just me talking. And so it's probably the most interesting thing you'll see on your YouTube feed today, but I'm going to go ahead and set this aside for now. And I'm going to talk about the word buried in WWE. The word buried. What does buried mean? In my opinion, buried, when you're talking about WWE, professional wrestling, etc., is when a superstar and or wrestler is at the point of quote-unquote no return, losing matches left and right, being sent out there to lose matches, really having no one behind them, and ultimately just losing matches and really being booked awfully to the point where no one really wants to back them up. That's being buried, in my opinion. The word buried is thrown around in an unbelievable way nowadays. Let's just say, let's see. Most recent that I can think of is the John Cena, Roman Reigns bickering back and forth. They've had some great promos, incredible promos together, mostly held up by John Cena. And at one point, John Cena, if I remember correctly, was the one to say, "Oh, congratulations, you beat an old man with a bad hip," etc. Like, "Oh, he was just an old bitter old man who had a bad hip. Congratulations, you beat him at WrestleMania." And immediately I see people, "Oh my God, John Cena buried the Undertaker. Has John Cena buried the Undertaker? Oh my goodness." Yes, the Undertaker was buried by John Cena after 25 years of an extraordinary career that almost arguably no one can match. The Undertaker was buried from being called an old man with a bad hip. After he said that, I immediately forgot about everything the Undertaker's ever done in his career. And I will now forever remember him as an old man with a bad hip. When someone brings up Undertaker, I will never think of going 20-something and 0 at WrestleMania. I will never think of the streak. I will never think of anything except an old man with a bad hip. Get real. Seriously. The Undertaker was not buried because someone called him an old... Do you see what I mean? That's why I get so irked. Oh my God, Cena beat this guy. He's buried. When I was in Monday Night Raw for Omaha. And I get it was kind of a joke, but a lot of my friends were saying, "Oh, here comes John, break out the gold shovel," because he tends to bury people. And he was facing Jason Jordan and eventually won. And in a match that showcased Jason Jordan's potential and how he can go against the top guys. And it took John Cena 20 plus whatever minutes to beat Jason Jordan. And John Cena ends up winning. People scream buried. It's unbelievable. Jason Jordan just went toe-to-toe as, quote-unquote, he may be a rookie, as Roman Reigns calls him. He's still very fresh, very green, got a long career ahead of him. And he goes toe-to-toe with arguably the greatest person to ever step foot in a WWE ring. And he was buried because he lost. It makes no sense. People don't look at the story. Granted, WWE does not do a good job at stories anymore, but they told it with that. They're clearly just showcasing him and showing what this young man can do, and obviously he's not going to go out there and beat John Cena. Get real. But I can definitely understand how people would nexus Cena buried, yada yada. But not everyone who loses to John Cena, or not every one of your favorites who ends up losing, is buried. The only person, or the only persons on the WWE roster that I can think of at the moment who are buried officially, Kurt Hawkins. Dude's on what, 110 losing streak, more than that, and WWE's glorifying that. That's buried. That's jobber status. 100% he is buried. I don't think you can ever come back from that. It's crazy. And then the Ascension at this point, been on the main roster 2 years and literally not had one storyline outside of being told to act like the Legion of Doom, if I remember correctly. They're buried. There's literally nothing there for them, ever. There hasn't been since they were brought to the main roster, and straight dive bomb, and they've been just going lower and lower. There's not even a straightening out at the bottom. They've just been dive bombing into hell, apparently, never coming back out of that. And then I could argue, what the Shining Stars were like. Where have they been? I mean, like, they always came out. They were nothing. Are they even on the main roster anymore? That's buried status. You got to question that. And there's really no one else I can think of at the moment. If I forgot someone, feel free to comment in the comment section. Let me know if you have an idea. But when you're screaming that Ty Dillinger was buried because he lost to so-and-so, or your favorite guy was buried because he lost to so-and-so, get real. It's buried. That's not how it goes. It's just not. It's not right, and it's just ignorance and crying, in my opinion. When, oh my God, he's burying him. He lost. He's buried. Just crying. Just enjoy the show. And that's another thing. I guess I can. It's only about 5 minutes. I had planned on making a 10-minute video. Kind of going to the fans nowadays and how absolutely obnoxious the majority. Excuse me. Not necessarily the majority of the diehard fans. I consider myself a diehard fan. I do. And for a while there, I think I started crossing into the annoying ones, because I'd like anytime something didn't go my way, I'd start getting all pissed off and bitch. But I kind of took a step back, and I thought, okay, the product, yeah, it's pretty bad, but it's not as bad as you think it is when you're bitching about everything. You notice there's some good parts, and that not everything that doesn't go your way ends up being a bad thing. You kind of sit back and take it in. But the constant just crying and complaining anytime something doesn't go your way, and there's a lot that WWE does that deserves crying and complaining, but it seems anytime like a babyface gets too old after like 2 weeks, fans are calling for him to turn heel. Turn him heel, he'll be fun. Turn her heel. Does Bayley need to turn heel? Does Bayley need... That's not the fix to everything. I truly think if you can't pull off a babyface, there's a very, very few exceptions. If you can't pull off being a babyface, you can't really pull off being a heel either. You're just not really... I believe as a WWE superstar, you should be able to pull off anything, both heel and face. And there's a very few exceptions. Randy Orton, that dude is an incredible heel, but I just can't stand him as a face. He's boring, bland, but as a heel, he's the Viper. I've never understood hearing someone called the Legend Killer or the Viper being a good guy. It just... And who else am I thinking of? I'm thinking of another person who works incredible as a heel, but as a face, it's just, what are you doing? Right now at least, on the main roster, it would be Randy Orton, the only one that I can think of. And otherwise, I think superstars should be able to pull off both, being a face and heel, and fans calling for someone to turn heel because they're boring as hell, awful as a face. It just doesn't fix the overall solution, and it's just your temporary fix, because at the end of the day, guys like John Cena, who are always face, have literally been face since, 2005, whatever, calling him bland. And that's what he works best as. And it would be cool to see John Cena as a heel, but eventually you'll get fed up with it and call for a face turner. It's just how it is. People are just mad. They refuse to let stuff work out. Storylines, when the second storyline starts, all this is dumb, and then end up giving up on it. I can understand it with Bray Wyatt stuff, but most of the time I see people complaining, oh, this is bad booking, this is bad. Let the storyline play out. And if it ends up being crap, then it ends up being crap. But I can't, it's another thing. Just really a rant video for me today. I need to get it out of my system. I'm tired of hearing people bitch all the time about WWE and nothing good to say. Which I could probably make that number 2. Hitting Hard with Healy, episode 2. Talk about the good things in WWE at the moment. I'm really just doing shoot. A lot of stuff you see nowadays is scripted and edited, and people take their time, and I think I might offer a little difference with just coming at you with my thoughts as the second they hit me. So I'm hoping, if you like it, go ahead and let me know if you think this is dumb. I really don't give a shit, but you can let me know in the comments, or what I can possibly do to improve it, because if I agree with you, I probably put it into effect. So just let me know what you think. If I missed anyone regarding the anything I went over, or you can think of anything, or someone else on the roster who may be buried, someone who works best as a heel but not a face, let me know, and I'll take that into consideration and possibly comment back and can discuss it. But otherwise, I will go ahead and end the video and hope you guys have a good day. And also in the comments, or if you have any ideas on what some episodes for Hittin' Hard could be, I have plenty of ideas, but I obviously want to entertain some people. So I will definitely make some episodes regarding what you'd like. So that is Hitting Hard with Healy. I am your GSW champion, Healy. The GSW championship fell on the floor. I'm not going to pick it up, but you already know who I am, so that should be good enough. See you later.